Hi, welcome back to this episode. My name is Nicolette, and we have Robert Sciglimpaglia here joining us today. I
Very
am
good.
the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again, Juxtaposition of Your Very Soul. Welcome, Robert, and thank you for saying yes to be interviewed today. I think I owe it to the listeners that we actually started 15 minutes earlier, but I, the host, forgot to press the record button. So we're starting off again. I'm going to read a bit of your introduction before we continue on to the questions. So, hey, listeners, we have Robert here. He has appeared on national television many times. He's best known as the dad on the 2012 Chevy Super Bowl commercial Happy Grad. Robert's first venture into the acting field was a show called American Experience Hijack, which aired nationally on PBS TV and was narrated by Campbell Scott. Read this. Besides television, he has done many films projects in leading or supporting roles. He has produced 35 films and television projects and acted in several, including Bathtub Chronicles and Within and Without, where he won several actor awards. He is currently involved in the production side for Sweeney Todd on Broadway. Okay. Robert here is also an author of the book Voice Over Legal, which hit number one on the Amazon bestseller list for entertainment law books. Robert certainly wears many hats. Let's all ask him, how does he juggle all of this? Do you
I do
have,
wear I do wear
yeah,
many hats.
yeah, you do. So, Robert, tell us, how do you do all these things together? Like, how do you juggle? And do you have tips for people trying things, numerous things like this?
Sure. Yeah. When I first started, I started as a lawyer, so I didn't do all those other things. So as I started putting things in to my time, I had to learn how to prioritize. So that's the biggest key. First of all, you have to make time for things that you want to do. If you want to be an actor, you want to be a voiceover artist, whatever you want to be, you have to carve out some time from your 80-hour weeks,
Mhm.
80-hour work weeks. You have to carve out a little time so that you can just do some training, work on it, do some practice, so that you can see if it's worth spending more time.
Right.
So that's what I did. So I learned that I loved voiceover, and so I said, I'm I'm gonna make time for this. So the way that I made time for voiceover to fit it into my schedule was I stopped golfing. I gave up my golf game. I used to
Oh,
golf
you stopped
once
golfing.
once or
Okay.
twice a week. I used to golf, and I gave that up. And all the time that I spent golfing, I put into voiceover. So I took classes, I did auditions, I did practice for all that period of time. So that's where I found my time. So everyone has time that they spend doing whatever, doing maybe just sleeping.
Yeah.
So you have to give up a little bit of that your time and to fit in what you want to do. And then once you've established that it's something you definitely want to do, definitely can make money at, definitely want to pursue, then you can start cutting back on your full time job and start weaving it in. That's what I did. So I was with a law firm at the time, working like 80-hour weeks, and then I started doing voiceover and started doing acting because I loved both. And I was getting more and more acting jobs and voiceover jobs and auditions. So I was using my vacation time to do it. So
Wow.
I remember that like March of, I think it was around 2006. I had already used all my vacation time, and I got an offer in to do a Disney film,
Oh,
Enchanted, for
oh,
13 Disney Enchanted. I don't, you may have seen it. 13
yeah.
days, 13-day contract. I got offered on that job, and so I showed my wife. I was like, "Oh, look, I got this offer," and I was like, "I don't have any more time left to work, so I can't do it." And she told me to quit my job. She said she knew how much I hated the grind there. She said, "Quit your job, go back on your own, start your own practice again." Because I had a friend who offered me an office in his suite, and go do this. this is something that you'll never get another chance to do.
That's
Something
true.
that if you get into the film, you'll be able to show our grandma. So I took her advice, and she's like, but just pay the mortgage. Like that was like that was,
Yeah, you
like
can't afford to lose the
that.
house.
That was the only thing that she was basically saying if I'm gonna do it, make sure that I'm gonna do it so that I'm still gonna make money at it and not just go move out to
Yeah.
Hollywood or something. So, but that's what I did, and that was back in 2006, and I've been on doing the same things since 2006. I've been still doing acting, still doing voiceovers, and then I actually moved into production because
Right.
because, because I'm a lawyer. I started out doing music law. I started representing voice talent, and I started representing actors, and so
Mm.
I was able to. Then filmmakers started coming to me to get advice. So then that's how I got into the production, because then eventually some filmmakers would be like, "Here, do this legal work for me," and then they're like, "You know what? Would you produce this film for us? Would you help us produce it?" Because
Wow.
I understand the business end of things, so it all interrelates with a lot of it interrelates with law, and that's how the book came about too. The voiceover legal book is voiceover artists would ask me questions. They'd ask me the same questions over and over again. So I wrote those questions down, and then I put a chapter for each question and gave examples, and that's how I wrote the book. It was because of real world legal questions. So
Walk us through. I'm actually quite interested. Like, how do you produce the? Actually, I'm not sure. You said you went into production, right?
yep.
So can you tell us what did you produce and what was the process, typical process?
I mean, I produced everything from short films to full features to TV series, web series. Productions, it's kind of a very broad term because
Right,
there's different areas of production. You can be an executive producer where you're just investing money, or you're involved with the financial end of it, or you're involved like a lawyer, the business side of things.
right.
Those are the executive producers. Or you have the boots on the ground producer, and I've done both. Boots on the ground is where you're doing the casting, you're getting the actors together, you're getting crafty, you're getting craft services, everything. You're doing all the
Basically,
work.
getting your hands dirty, then, right? That's
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And I've done both. I've done from I'll help on the business side, or I'll help on the ground actual production side, or sometimes I do the entire thing from beginning to end. So, like at the very beginning, you're doing the pre-production where you're getting the script reviewed to make sure that you can get it shot and how much it's going to cost, and doing the budget, and then finding the investors, and then you figure out who you're going to have as actors and getting your distributors in line, and then you figure out your shoot times, coordinate all those schedules, get your cast and crew together. I've done the whole thing from beginning to end. So of course you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah,
You
that's
need
my
you need a
next
team. You
question.
need a team of people. And
So how many do
again,
you have?
well, I have different people that I use for different things. So I don't have employees. I have people that I can get that
Like
I
you
know
like you
DPs or
subcontract them, like out it's
exactly.
like outsource. So okay, if I need this done, come work for me for this period of time, and then
That's the way films are made, most of them. So it's
right,
not done by in-house employees. You find, so like for instance, I have a
right.
few directors of photography, DPs. I have two or
Mm-hmm.
three that I can use. And the other thing you'll find out is that just because someone's a director of photography doesn't mean that they can do everything under the sun. So some are good for documentaries, some are good for
Mm,
sci-fi, some are good for horror. So like
right.
that's part of the business, is to try to figure out, align yourself with people that are good for certain genres. That's
Mm,
also part of that's the art. That's the art part of the business.
yeah.
So I have certain people that I can talk to and draw in whenever I'm working on a project. And sometimes it's not just projects that I'm working on. It may be projects my clients are working on. And they'll ask
Mm-hmm.
me, do you know a DP that can shoot this? And I'm like, yes, I do. And then I'll refer them. Or sometimes it's trying to get named actors and trying to bring them into the mix. So it could be any aspect. And when you're working on the inside workings of a film, you're producing. That's what you're doing. So you could be a
Right.
producer of a small piece, or you could be the full producer that does the whole thing
The
from beginning to
whole
end.
the whole yard, yeah.
And that's when you see, like in movies, you see the credits.
Exactly. The credits are like,
You're not gonna have you're gonna have multiple producers on one. If there's a movie that's got 20 credits at the
yeah.
end, that's one that you can it's a short film or something that you can handle yourself. But when you get many people involved, you're gonna have more than one producer that's
Mm.
coordinating everything. It's because it's impossible for one person to do a $30 million film all by themselves. So you need many people.
You brought something, 2 points that I wanted to touch on. Number one was the investors. Like, how do you get these investors?
So in the way that you get investors, either somebody that's rich that wants to put
That
money
means
into a
your
movie.
connection, but I think you will know because you're a lawyer, so you'd be able
Some
to.
some
You're an
people just
attorney.
want some people just want to be they just want to be part of the glamour, the glitz and glamour of movie making. So they'll put money in, especially if it's a certain actor that they may just put money in. That's one way to do it. But there's more
Right.
scientific business ways to do it that I deal with most of the time. And which it's kind of it's a puzzle. You have to put the puzzle pieces together. Go to somebody and say, "Give me,
X amount.
$100,000," and
Yeah.
you have to have some kind of plan, some kind of package to present them. So the first thing that you need to do is you have to have a strong script. You have to get someone to cover the script, so they have to read it, go over it, say that they say it's viable, right? That's step one. And then what I like to do is I try to get the distributor involved right at the beginning, or a sales agent, because then they can do some pre-sales of the film to try to so we can hire a name actor, right? Because if
Oh,
we hire a name, you're hiring a name, you have a very strong script, and you have a distributor, then it's
right.
much easier for you to get. You don't really need to get all the money at that point. You only need to get 20%, and then you can
Mm,
use tax credits, and you can use bank monies, loans to fill in
right.
the other gaps. So
Wow.
that's the way the bigger films are
Oh,
financed. So
oh, wow. Now, because I'm an accountant myself. So, what is the typical ROI for a film? Like for you to do it, for it to be viable?
so for me, I try to have the investors not have their money at risk ever. That's
Mm,
the goal. So under the model I just said, if they're going to put in 20%, I would try to make it so we don't touch the 20%. They were using the 80 to make the film, because that's loan money, that's tax credits, that's what they call soft
mm,
money, and then we would pay 10 or 20% back to the investor
right.
off their initial investment. So typical return on an investment for an investor, if it's done properly, would be something like 10 to 20. But if it's done really well, they can make money on the back end also. They're going to get a percentage of the back end. But only 9 out of 10 independent films make money. So it's very
But 9 out of
important.
10 is good, right? Like that's a good
I'm
percentage.
sorry, 1 out of 10. 9 out
One
of
out
10
of
don't.
10, okay.
1 out of 10 make money. 9 out of 10 don't make money.
Don't make
So
money.
it's
Okay.
important. It's very important when someone is investing in a film that they have to invest in a film that's done the proper way. Because
Right.
there are ways to, like I was just saying, there are ways to reduce risk to the investors. And there are ways just to, if people are just going to throw money in and they're not really, there's no plan behind it. There's no named actors. It's just a bunch of filmmakers getting together to shoot a film. Chances are they're not going to make their money back. So, and it also takes an average of 3 to 5 years to
Mm.
make money back on a film,
Oh,
a typical
really?
film.
Because of the royalties and
Yep. For an independent
right.
film, it takes 3 to 5
Okay.
years for it to go through the full sales cycle. And so
Mm,
some investors, they don't want to wait 3 to 5 years to make their money
right.
back. So there's a lot involved with film financing. Um,
Wow.
but if you understand how it works, you can make it
It's
so
a
you're more the
replicating
one
type of
versus the not.
yeah.
So
Mm.
sorry, I cut you off.
No, no worries. I was just sorry, I cut you off. I was like, once you've gone through a life cycle, then you kind of like replicate it.
Right.
Given that you have a good team to go out and do your yeah, because I guess when you're doing few I don't know if there's anybody that can do two films at the same time.
Oh, there are. Yeah, people do. People do multiple
Yeah,
films. But again, it's not themselves doing it. Like it's
exactly. So they have
you
to,
have crews.
somehow rally up a team, and there's another team right here.
Yep, absolutely.
Good.
I would advise it, but I mean, if you're big, have a big enough company, then you can do it for sure. If you have
Yeah,
enough
if you have a
people.
good backing, then yeah, might as well go full fledged on it.
And sometimes it works out that way because lining up the financing takes time.
Yeah.
So or lining up an actor's schedule takes time. If it's a named actor, so
Mm,
sometimes you have to do it because the money and the actors are. You have two films that line up at the same time, so sometimes you have to do it because
right.
otherwise you're going to lose the
You're
opportunity
gonna lose.
on one of
Yeah.
them.
Right.
So it's that's all the juggling. So if you
Wow.
have
Amazing.
extra crews that you could go to like that's or extra APs,
Mhm.
executive producers you can tap or other production companies that you could go to. I collaborate with a lot of different companies and a lot of different people, so
Wow.
I can pick up the phone and
You get
you know
this. Yeah, pick and
people
choose. This one. Maybe I'll call this one.
yeah, and people love it too. Like if I'm giving people business, you
Yeah.
know
It's a
they
win-win,
then
mutual.
they give business to me. So
That's true. That's true. And
that's
you
how it
mentioned,
works.
yeah, I guess collaboration is the way forward now. It's no longer competition. I don't know because I'm from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. So growing up, I've always watched all these movies, American. So I'm always interested to know how they work. So having a podcast, inviting guests such as yourself, gives me that sneak peek. Oh, is this what people in Hollywood do it? Right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you'll also normally see on even the larger films, ones that they're studio films, you'll see if you watch the beginning credits in
Yeah.
association with,
Yeah.
right? So those are usually the production companies, like a little company like me that maybe got the script and then we sold it
Ah.
to the big Universal Pictures or whoever, and then they're producing it, but they're in association with, or sometimes there's full co-production. So sometimes,
Mm.
like sometimes a big studio will they'll say, okay, we'll do the production, get the talent, you do the
Yeah.
rest of it. Here's the money to do the rest of it. So that's a full co-production, and then it would say, in association with or co-produced with something like that. And sometimes you'll see like 10 companies in
Yeah.
association with, like
Yeah.
because they each shot up some kind of part and
Mm.
getting it done.
You mentioned another point just now. Your wife was very supportive of you during your shift. Share with us. How? I mean, in what way do you think support system is very important in your life and, to be honest, generally for people trying to pursue different ventures?
Oh, it's absolutely it's essential. If you don't have a support system, then you're fighting against the people that you live with every day. It makes things so much more difficult. It's already difficult, and it just makes things much more difficult. And so you really have to figure out a way to convince your significant other that it's something that it's not going to be harmful, and it usually
Right.
comes out of fear. So you have to, like that was the thing that I was kind of surprised about. My wife is very conservative, but she was able to see through the fact that this is a one-time opportunity. So you should take it because it's a one-time opportunity. But she still had that reality. She still had the
Mortgage must be paid.
get the mortgage paid, right? So, and that's the fear. The fear is people if they are not working a 9 to 5 job,
Mm.
they think that they don't have security to do other
Yeah.
things, and it's the fear factor. So you have to get by that fear factor, and whether it's starting a side gig while you're working and then making money with it so that you show yourself you can make money doing a side gig. So, hey, I can make money doing this side gig, then I can go out and do acting, right? That may be one way, but you have to get yourself over that fear. You're not going to do it by, most of the time, jumping in with both feet. Most of the
Mm.
time you have to ease your way through that
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could. Sometimes you could. But if you don't have a very serious plan
Yeah.
laid out, jumping in with both feet is what you're gonna fear.
Yeah.
Your fear is gonna come true.
Right.
All those fears are gonna come true if you don't have a plan by jumping in with both feet. So you have
So
to
say, yeah. Yeah. Sorry,
go
you were
ahead.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, you have to convince yourself somehow, whatever way works for you, that I can do this and I'm not afraid. So
So
whatever
say
works.
like I'm a millennial, right? And you have, let's say, people that are not partnered, for example, and they want to do something, and they think and they feel and they believe they can do it, but they don't have that support system from their parents, for example, or basically their friends. What should they do?
So here's a good story.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned parents.
Yeah.
So when I took voiceover classes, I did my demo. I told my mom, I was like, "Oh, look, I got this cool voiceover demo. I'm gonna go do voiceovers." So she goes, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's like acting. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be an actor."
But I'm not
So
gonna be shown on the TV. Just my voice will be heard.
she's like, "So yeah," I said, "It's I'm like an actor with my voice." And she's like, "You're never gonna do anything with that, just like that. You're never gonna do anything with that." And I said, "Okay, thanks, mom. Now I don't have to
Shut
thank you when I win my
down
first Oscar."
immediately. Yeah, I'll thank you during my Oscar.
Yeah, I don't have to thank you now
Ceremony.
when I win my first Oscar. That's what I said to her. So she, now she's totally on board now. Like when I did the Super Bowl commercial back in 2012. She was telling
Right.
all of her friends and had everyone over to
Like that's
watch.
my
Like
son. That's my
exactly,
son.
exactly. So you have to convince your support system too that you're not crazy. You know what I mean? That you're not going through, like she said, I was going through a midlife crisis. That's what she said at the time. And I'm like, no, I'm not going through. This is totally something I want to do this. Yeah, I guess I am a little bit because I wanted to get it done before I got too old to do things. So, but it
Yeah.
wasn't a crisis. I see a crisis as when you do things that are destructive. Like
Mm.
have an affair or go buy $100,000 car that
Yeah,
you can't
or just
afford.
go gamble in
Or
Vegas
go
or
gambling.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was doing something that I wanted to do to improve things,
Yeah.
make myself more happy.
Right.
And so I don't see that as a crisis. I see that as, you just realizing that you don't have that every day. You're lucky to be here. Like you're not going to have an infinite amount of time.
Yeah.
And people,
That's good.
people want to change that. They don't have to be middle aged to do it. They could be, they're young. They could be senior citizens. It doesn't matter. But
You know, why because I didn't click the record button before that. I had a conversation with my dad a couple of days ago, and I was also telling him like I mentioned, I have been in the corporate world for about 12 years now. So he's always been big on education. So I did that,
yep.
got my accounting, and then did the whole climb the ladder. So and then but along the way I've always been I think I've tried the avenues, if I won't say all, but at least avenues of becoming touching upon the areas of finance and accounting. So and then now I had never thought like 10 years ago I would have started my own podcast, like, and then I was, and just last, 2023, yeah, just last year I enrolled to a therapist course. So and it's a full shift from that thing. And he was like, um, and then I told him, like, I want to build this. I wanted to do podcasting because I wanted it to be a practicing platform for me to when I start taking clients for therapy. But then
Mhm.
I actually enjoy doing this, and it's like my side passion project now. It's a passion project. And then and then I told him, and maybe therapy is not my end goal. I wanted to do coaching.
Mhm.
And then he told me, "You are now a master, like daughter, like in our language." So I was like, "But you're a master of none." Like, And he was like that. Then I went on this whole yard of not really convincing, but just standing in my truth, and it's like defending. But I said, okay. So I've always been the not to say rebellious, but opinionated, I guess. So, and that's why I've left home since I was 17 and I haven't been back
Well,
for a while.
so I mean, your parents are trying to protect you, right? They're trying to do what you think's right for you. So I take that stuff with a grain of salt when they say stuff like that. So like when my mom said that, that's why I was joking with her. You know what I mean? I'm like, I know how she is, so it's just like, okay, I'm not going to thank you during my Oscar speech. I'm serious. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to stop because you tell me not to do that. You know how I am. I'm not going to stop, right? So and they're but you have to break down what they're saying too, right? So you he's saying that you need to be educated. I agree with that one, but there's nothing wrong with educating yourself in different areas. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And in
Right.
fact, that's what you should want to do. Why do you want to know a little bit about this much, right? When you can know, or a lot about this much, when you can
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
there's no reason why you can't know a lot about this much.
yeah,
There's no reason why,
yeah.
right? We all we have access to so much information. Like there's no reason why wouldn't you explore it? It's like when someone steps off a ship and goes and sets foot in America. Look at this huge place. Like why would you not want to go look around and look at it? I mean,
Yeah,
it's just human nature, right?
yeah,
So by limiting yourself, you're actually cutting off human nature. And then you can see what you like and you don't like. Like obviously if you don't like something, you're not going to keep pursuing it, right? And then the other thing that's great about where we live in the United States of America is you can monetize anything. You can make money off your podcast. You can make money off of everything you do.
Robert, you'd be surprised. I have been waiting and I've been messaging Spotify. When can I get this? Because it's not big in Malaysia. I mean, we have podcasts, but it's not big yet. Like I need to keep pestering them, but I know it makes money.
Right.
So
And maybe not
yeah,
directly. Get
yeah,
a couple
maybe
of
not
sponsors.
directly. Yeah,
I mean, there's many ways
sponsor
to make money on off of a podcast or off anything you do. There's ways to make money on
exactly,
it. So
exactly.
it's not like it's not a waste of time, in my opinion. Besides,
Thank
it's
you.
not a waste of time if you're learning.
Exactly. Like I'm learning how to produce a film. Like although I don't think I'm gonna go into producing, but at least I know like you have like different teams that you need to gather
well,
and then yeah.
let me give you a little tip. You would be
Okay.
good as a line producer since you're
What
an
would you mean?
accountant.
What's
So a line producer is the one that is in charge of the money for the film.
oh
They're in
oh
charge of the
I
money
can I
coming
can be
in.
I
They're in
can
charge
be
of cutting
yes.
all the checks, cast and
I
crew. You
am
could
the
be a line
ace in
producer.
that. Yes. So what's it called? Line producer.
Line producer, yes, line producer.
Okay, okay.
And
So
good
they
line
don't call it
producers are hard to find.
really.
Yes. So if you're a good
They
line
don't
producer, you'd make tons of money.
really. So
Yes,
is it like so it's not called accountants, they're called
correct.
line producers.
They're called line producers.
Oh,
Correct.
thank you, Robert. So I need
Correct.
I need I need a network so that if they're looking for line, I mean, so how do someone post themselves as line producer? Is it network based in connections or
Well, you're a
is it
CPA, right? CPA?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm under
So
ACCA, so it's UK.
so then what you would want to do is I would start small, start on a couple of small film projects to build up
Right.
experience. And then people and go into some Facebook groups where they have line produce. They talk about line producers or filmmakers and tell people, "I'm a line producer. I've done this, and this." And then you build up
Oh,
your reputation. Then to get to the bigger things, it's like anything else. It's like trying to become a famous actor or trying to be an attorney for the big things. You have to build your way up to that. So, but there's so many opportunities down here on the ground that
yeah.
where you can make money and get experience. That's the beauty of it. There's so many independent films that are being made, or so many short films, and I'm telling you, most of the filmmakers, the reason why only 1 out of 10 make it is because most of the filmmakers don't know what they're doing. They need guidance. They need help. So that's why that was what I was trying to tell you. Like
Where
that's
you
why
came in.
I would come in as an attorney and then I'd end up as a producer sometimes because they need guidance. They need help on how the business works and how what give me advice on what I should do and the line producer same thing. You can give that same kind of financial advice to them, to the filmmakers. right? And the line producers pretty much runs the whole thing. They're the ones that the money comes in, they take care of the
They're
escrow
the ones
account,
that
they
say,
pay out the
okay,
money.
we can
They
pay
say
this, we
we're
can.
on budget, right? We got to stay on
Yeah,
budget here. Where you're going
yeah,
over budget. You can't get that
yeah,
crane for that shot,
yeah.
like that. That's your job. That's your job as a line producer. So,
Oh,
which is
thank you,
different than
Robert.
accountant.
You just sprouted an idea in my brain. Like I'm gonna definitely write it down. Like as I've always been interested in media as well. Oh, I can use
And
my expertise.
you could also be just a straight accountant for a film, because the
Oh,
accountant's the one that actually does they're the ones that do the nuts and bolts,
the entries and whatnot.
writing of the
Yeah,
entry, right? They keep track of the books and give the reports. That's the accountants do. The line producers, like the supervisor, they're the ones that
I like to manage, plan, and see whether it's tracked or not. Because I'm also in project management. Oh my,
right. No, I get it. Perfect. But I'm just saying, if you wanted a job in the film business with your accounting degree, you could just be
I could start with that.
and learn how it
Yeah,
works
exactly. And then
and get paid.
probably make it, yeah, get paid, probably make it to the maybe supporting. Well, I mean, a girl can dream, right?
Well, if you want to get on camera, I mean, that's starting on off camera. There's many people in the business that are off camera and they end up on camera.
And
So
in front, yeah.
that happens too. So
Thank you.
there's no reason not to dream. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's the only thing you're doing by saying I can't do that is preventing yourself from doing it. As soon as you say you can't, that's the end of it.
that's
It's
yeah.
the end of it. It's kind of, my wife golfs too. And it's like I tell her when we're golfing,
Mm,
we'll go up to a hole that has water, like a par 3 that has water in front of us.
right.
And she's like, oh man, look at that water. And I'm like, what water? What water? Like, I don't even think about the water, because if I do, my ball is going in it. I think about the distance, what club I need to hit. I don't think that there's water in front of me. And that if it doesn't, because as soon as you start thinking about that, the water ball is going in it's going in, because that's what you put in your mind.
That's
So
the mindset. Yeah.
yeah, so
Wow.
you just gotta boom,
Thank you, Robert.
kind of
Look at
easy,
that.
easy advice.
What would you say your greatest takeaways throughout your career and business ventures?
Greatest takeaways. Number one, there's always a place that you can make money with something. So if you're passionate about something, there's no reason to say I got to take the safe road and go in the office, and which that may be fine for some people, and if they like it, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you have a dream, there's no reason not to pursue your dream too, because there's always an avenue to make revenue for anything,
Ooh,
anything
there's
you
always
want to do.
avenue to make revenue. Oh God,
Always,
I gotta
always.
write that down.
So that's number one. I mean, you can make money with your money, right? In this country,
Always avenue to make revenue.
you can make money with your money. All you got to raise is a couple of grand, give it to, put it into an AI investment, and they invest it for you. It does all the moves for you, so you can make money with your money, right? So the money, that part, people get so hung up about.
That's another area that. What is your take on that? Sorry, I know we have a question, but now we're jumping to another question. Sorry to cut you off.
What's my take on what?
AI investing.
Well,
investing by AI.
AI is bad for. It's a curse word for artists, because artists think that AI is going to take over, and in a way, it is taking over voice work and on-camera work. But AI is great for other things, like legal work. Like I have AI that goes over my contracts for me and redlines them. And there's AI where you can just take a lump of money and put it into an account, and then it trades it for you. Does the trades for you. You don't have to do anything. The AI just trades the money for you as the stocks go up or down. So that's another great use of AI. So it really depends on where you're talking about, what area you're talking about, whether it's good or bad.
You are also you consider yourself as an artist, right? Like me, I think, part of me is also an artist now since I'm doing podcasting. So how does that, do you think are you threatened, or are you solid? Like how do you?
So there are ways, there are ways, like I was just saying, there's an avenue to make revenue and everything, right? So you can make money in AI as an artist, because you can clone your voice and have your voice, your cloned voice, your AI voice things and get paid. So that
Oh,
that
got
exists out there.
it.
So the union, their new contract says that the production company can pay you to take pictures of you and use your AI self in a film, right? So you get paid for just going in and getting pictures done. You don't have to stay there the whole day. You just get pictures taken, and
Right.
then they can only use it for that production. But then if they want to use it for future productions, they got to pay you. You have
Yeah.
to negotiate something. So there again, you're using your AI self and you're not actually doing the work. So like there are avenues to make money in anything, and AI too. Like AI is just starting out, so there's gonna be it's gonna be like
Like,
when the internet just started out. When it started out, that's what AI is going through now. So there's gonna be all kinds of opportunities for jobs and for money and
hmm,
revenues. So that's my take on it.
right. So yeah, so your greatest takeaway was there's always avenue to make revenue. Any other takeaways or just that?
There's always avenues, and there's always areas that you can learn, right? So I don't care if you do something the same way every day for 20 years. There's always more efficient, better ways, and there's always areas that you can learn. You can educate yourself. So I'm always open. I'm always open for those things. I'm always looking for the better way, the better mousetrap, as they call it. The way to build a better mousetrap. I'm always looking for it because when you stumble on that, it could be revolutionary for you. It could be, a moneymaker, or it could just be eye opening. It could change your life when you discover that way to create a better mousetrap. But you have to be open for it. If you're not open
Mm.
for it, then you're not going to see it. If you're like, oh, I'm doing this the same way 20 years, I don't need it. I
And
don't need that.
I've done. It
Please,
works for me for 20 years, so I'm gonna keep
right.
doing it. But yeah, but it's
It may not be the
no,
best way. It may not
yeah,
be
and you're
like
gonna get
there's
replaced somehow down the line.
exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. You can be replaced, or just it couldn't be just the way you think about something. You could be
Mm.
the same way of thinking for 20 years, which may be good, it may be efficient, it may work, but it might not be the best way. So you'll have to be open to learning something different and new and trying it. It may be that your way's better, but if you don't try it, then you're never gonna know. And this is especially true. This is how I learned acting, and how I'm
Mm.
still learning acting, because you have to acting. There's really there's techniques to it, but then you have to forget about all your techniques when you're actually acting. You have to just let things happen, let things come, and that's what you're learning when you're acting, is how I let things come. How do I stop thinking? So
Right.
so there's different ways to do it, different ways to accomplish it, and you just have to figure out which way works best for you. That's the fun part, actually. I like that. It's fun.
Do you have any unforgettable stories of failure that led to where you are today?
Oh, I've had so many failures. I mean, if you don't have failure, then you don't have any success. Like
The
that's
most significant one, and that's something that you remember until the
the
end of
most
time.
significant failure I've ever had was the first case I ever tried.
Okay.
So
What
first
happened?
case I ever tried was a fraud case about a contract, and someone gave facts that really lied about the facts, basically, and got someone to buy a business. So
Right.
um so I tried the case. I was right out of law school, tried the case myself. Big mistake. I should have had someone help me. I should have had a mentor come in to help me, because I couldn't even cross-examine the witness. I couldn't get my
Right.
words down that I wanted to in the proper format, because when you cross-examine, well, when you're doing direct exam, you're not allowed to lead the witness. So when I was doing direct exam, I kept asking them yes or no questions, and the other side kept objecting, and they would win the objection, and then I'd be like, I didn't know what to say. You know what I mean? So I didn't know how to formulate a
Again, this is
question
so
properly.
interesting.
So that was my biggest failure, and I learned right there that no matter how much you think you know, you don't know everything.
And
Like
it's always
it's not what you don't know that hurts
Yeah.
you. So
But it's always good. Don't you notice, Robert, that when you fail fast, you bounce out of it faster, and then
yes,
you learn on it like way faster. I mean, like, of course, it's a direct hit to your ego, to your self-esteem, or you're gonna fall flat on your face. But then you get on with the next one, and then you brush yourself off and set up again. But there are also people that they stay down there like, oh my god, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I don't want to
exactly,
face this. So how do you? What are your
exactly.
advice for these two types of, uh, basically the latter? Yeah.
So that's where the sports comes in for
Oh,
me. Remember, I told you when I was a kid. I don't think we missed this part of the
right.
interview. When I was a kid, I played sports.
Yeah.
I played
We did.
baseball. I
Yes.
played football. I played everything. Right. So I learned that sports you're going to fail. So you just have to like, especially I played baseball. So baseball, if you get a hit 3 out of 10 times, 3 out of 10 times you get a hit, you're going to the Hall of Fame. Like that's a great 300 is a great batting average, right? So 7 out of 10 times you're failing,
Mm.
right? So you just have to fight your way through it. If you're in a slump and you're over 20, you just have to keep doing it. Just keep swinging, keep swinging, keep swinging. And that's what I tell my kid. Like kids
Keep
play softball.
swinging.
Keep swinging. Just keep swinging, right? Because then eventually, if it's gonna bounce back. It's just numbers. It has to bounce back. So the ones that fail are the ones that quit. They didn't give a chance for it to bounce back. They never gave a chance. They quit.
Mm.
So that's the real failure. Quitting
Mm.
is the real failure. Keep at what you're doing. The only valid reason to quit something is if you don't like it. In my opinion.
Mm.
I don't like this. I don't like it anymore. It's not something that I want to do anymore. It's not my passion anymore. Fine. That's the only time that you should quit
You let it
anything.
go.
Yeah,
Mm.
right. You retire. It's not quitting.
You're
It's
retired.
you're basically retiring. So you don't have the passion for whatever you were doing anymore. Not because you're not doing well at it. If you fail, if you quit because you're failing, because you're not doing well, that's a no-no. Like that's for me. That's bad. Like I would never let my kids do that. I don't do it. You have to, if you're gonna quit, go out at the top of your at the top of your game. Like if you're gonna retire at something, at least
Make
turn the
sure
corner.
you're somebody.
Well, just go about that. Don't go out when you're down when you're 0 for 20. Go out when you're 8 for 10. You know what I mean? Go out if you're gonna retire. Turn the corner, then say, okay, I'm not playing next year. I'm done. That's mine. But just don't quit because you're losing. Then you're gonna be a loser. That's what a loser does.
What is one thing about you that people don't know about?
Good question. Because I'm an open book. So
Yeah, I can see like you are an open.
one thing that people don't know about me. I like dogs. I
I
like
can hear your
rescuing
dogs
dogs.
in the background.
Oh, did you hear him? He was barking
Yeah.
before. Yeah, I
What is
have
that? The pit bull?
Rottweiler Shepherd
Oh,
mix.
Wilder. Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
have a cat somewhere. Yeah, there.
nice. Yeah. So I've rescued 3 dogs. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
same breed.
The rescue as well.
So that's something that people don't know about me, I think. So
Thank you. So, Robert, what is next for you?
good question. I've got 2 films that are in post. I've
Mm-hmm.
got 3 that are just starting to work on. I've got a book. I'm rewriting the book, so I'm about a third of the way through that. I'm trying to get a couple of TV series launched that I'm working on. We already shot pilots, so we're trying to get those things done.
Do you still go to court and
Oh,
try
yeah.
it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going to court Friday. Yep.
What does your day-to-day look like?
It really just depends. I mean, it could be law, or it could be acting, or it could be producing, or it could be all a combination. Usually, it's a combination of all of them. So, like I'll do some
Wow. So
legal
like
work or whatever.
So it's like you sleep, you wake up. Do you like plan ahead what you're gonna do tomorrow, or you just whatever it is, I'm ready?
I do, but a lot of times my plans they
So
don't go the way as
they
planned
get
because
hijacked to buy other
yeah,
things.
exactly.
But
Things
I
come
think
up.
the key is to just accept it and just go with it, right?
Oh sure.
Like yeah.
Yeah, I don't get upset if things pop up and I can't do it how I've planned out. I make sure I just have it down on a list so that I'm going to get to it. But I hardly ever get well, sometimes I'll get it through a day exactly the way I plan, but most of the time it doesn't happen that way. Most of the time, so many things pop up that I'm not doing it exactly in the order I want to do it, or I have to push it off to the next day. So
Right.
that's prioritizing. Again, that goes back to that. So things that I can push off, I push, but things that I can't, I have to get done. Like if I have a brief due or something, I got to do this. I'll sit down and I have to get it done. So
Question for you, right? I think this is what I experienced myself, because now it's been 6 months since I started my podcast, so I've got 9 to 5 as well podcast, and I'm studying. Then I'm a person who likes to keep my balls afloat, so it's like I'm juggling all of this. So but when I feel down at work, it's sort of like it takes the joy from podcasting. How do I say this? It's like I don't the motivation gets sucked out of me, so it's
yes.
like I don't feel like doing it. So how
Yep.
do you do that? Like when your case is not really going as what you hope.
So
How do you?
this is where my hobbies and sports come in, because I still play softball and I still play golf. So if I'm feeling like that and I'm
Oh,
not motivated anymore, I grab my
right.
clubs and I go to the golf course and I
Oh,
go play golf.
wow.
So, or I'll grab my bag
Okay.
and I'll go into the batting cage and I'll hit some softballs in the batting cage. So that's how I keep myself sane.
Oh,
Everybody has to have that too. Like,
right. So
so art,
find that thing.
find that thing. Acting used to be that was the thing, but now it's
Yeah.
a job. Acting's a
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
now.
Exactly.
So
It
I
is
have to
now a job.
I
Yeah.
have to get away from that too sometimes.
True.
So
True. Well, I gotta find what is my. Okay, I'll get to it.
yeah, so just find your thing. Everyone needs that. You need somewhere to go where
An
you
outlet to
an
just
outlet.
not think about
Yes,
the job. Yeah.
pickleball. That seems to be the thing these days. I never played, but it looks fun.
Okay, I probably need to. Yeah, need to define that for me.
Or I
Uh,
used to go, like, I have a basketball hoop in my backyard, so I used to grab my daughter and we'd go out and shoot baskets too. When she was having an issue or I was having an issue, we would go out and shoot the
so you
baskets.
just go there. Right. So I'm gonna ask a question that relates to the essence of my podcast. How would you define self-worth, and why is it crucial for personal growth and happiness?
Well, they go hand in hand, right? If you don't feel good about yourself, you can't be happy, right? That's just easy. So self-worth, you have to be, you just, for me, you just, that's why I explore different things, because I have to feel like I'm
Yay, you answered
I'm
it
not
for me
stagnant.
too.
I'm not
Because
stagnant.
I feel it that way, because I don't want to feel stuck. Yes, that's the very
Exactly.
reason.
Stuck.
Yeah.
Good word. Stagnant. I explore things because I want to. Like I said, I use the same analogy. If someone that you may be able to relate this. You come to our country. You come to the country, and it's a huge country, and you want to explore. You don't want to stay in one spot. This country is gigantic. I want to explore every single part of the U.S. Right? It's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like I want to explore different things, different areas, and see what I like, what I don't like, and also it reinforces what you're doing while you're doing that. It reinforces that, yeah, I'm on the right path. This is where I should be by doing those checking out other things and learning other things. You're telling to yourself, hey, look, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm making what I'm supposed to be making. And even if you're not making the amount of money that you want to, it doesn't really matter. Like that doesn't really matter either. Because I also found out a long time ago when I first started practicing law that I could make tons of money
Right.
practicing, but I'm going to have zero life. Zero.
That's
I'm just going to
true.
be working. I'm not going to be going to kids' games. I'm not going to be talking to my wife. I'm just going to be working, working, working.
Working,
So
working.
that was something I learned early too, is that you need to have, for me anyway, I need to have work-life balance, work-family balance. I can't just do work, 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 because the money doesn't, all I need is enough money to pay for my bills and be comfortable. I don't need to be a millionaire.
Like the
Although now you can be a millionaire by doing many things, so it's a little different now than it was back then, because now
right.
you can have a side gig or you can You could put your money in an AI investment. And there's many
Yeah.
different ways to make money where you're not actually working.
Yeah.
So that's how I define it, as just knowing you're on the right path, not feeling like here it is, not feeling like you have to get up every day, but you want to get up every day. I want to get up every day. I don't have to get
Can
up
you
every day.
repeat that?
Not feeling like you have to get out of bed every day, but you want to get out of bed every day. That's how I define it. Like, I have a great day coming up. Hey, I want to get out of bed. I don't want to pull the covers over my head and sleep here because I have to get up to go to work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
I want to
if you
get.
have a job where you want to get up every day and go to work, then you're on the right path. That measures your self-worth.
Thank you. What is your heart's greatest wish?
Well, what I'd like to do in the future is be a series regular on a TV series, or host a TV series, or
Oh my God, if I see you on TV, I'm like, oh, I interviewed Robert.
well, I've got a couple of films that are coming out. Some bigger indies. But I like to do some studio films. So those are the goals I'd like to do eventually, at some point. But I just did a film with Kevin Sorbo. I don't know if you know who he is. He used to play Hercules on TV back in the 70s. But
Okay. Probably if I see the face, I'd remember.
you probably would know. So yeah, that one is they're probably going to theaters. So that's an independent. So you may see me in the theater one day, but. So, but I'd like to get actually to the next level if I can. So I've got a couple of TV series that I'm producing that have a shot. So we'll see.
Do you have a mantra that you live by?
Yes. It's actually Al Pacino's phrase. Al Pacino, the actor.
Yeah.
So he said, "No one ever knocked on my door and asked me if I wanted to be famous. So I started knocking."
Wow.
That's Al
That's
Pacino's
deep.
phrase.
Yeah.
So just pick up the rocks. Just keep picking up rocks. That's basically what it's saying means.
That's a very good one.
You never know what you're gonna find. So pick up rocks. Could find a snake, or you could find a bar of gold. You never know.
A diamond. Yeah.
Or a diamond. Yep. See,
Yeah.
but you can't be afraid of the snake, because that will prevent you from getting the diamond, right?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. What is there anything that keeps you up at night?
Usually it's cases, law cases that keep me up at night. I'll think about strategy on how I'm gonna try the case, or there may be an issue that comes up that I'm trying to work through, or someone may be pointing the finger at me. So, I may be thinking about that. Those are the things that keep me up the most. But
Other than that, you sleep well.
yeah, other than that, I sleep well. It's usually not that often either.
Right. Okay, last question. If you could create a quote right now to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Be on the spot here.
I'm so sorry. You're not the first one to say that to
It's
me.
all right. Let me see a quote. Let's see.
You can reuse if you want Al Pacino's, or you want to have your own also. That's
Well, Al
fine.
Pacino's. Well, mine is there's always an avenue to make revenue. Like, that's my quote.
Yeah, I think
I've already said that's. I say that all the time.
Yeah. I think that pretty much sums it up. That's you.
And Al
So
Pacino
like,
one is what I do. Like, that's how I
that's
live.
what you
So,
apply. I mean, avenue to make revenue is also but then it's
but
gonna
that's
be
mine.
like, yes, that's you. It's gonna be dash Robert Sciglimpaglia.
Yes.
Apostrophe 2024.
And there's other
thank-
ones too, but I just can't think of them. There's
What
other
is
quotes
that?
that I have, but I can't think of them right now. So there's other things that I say that my family are like, "Shut up, stop saying that," because I know I'm with them, but I can't think of them right now. So
That's fine. That's okay. I think that pretty much sums up our interview. I really enjoyed talking to you, Robert.
me too. I enjoyed
Thank
talking to
you
you.
for being very candid and very honest and transparent about your journey and your tips, your advice to for me. And I wish you all the best in your endeavors. And I think I will see you. I'll be on the lookout for your name.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Are you also on social media?
Oh yeah, I'm all over.
Okay. So when this airs, I'll clip and tag you.
Great. Excellent.
Thank you so much, Robert. You have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
You too.
Bye
Take care.
bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.